One of the best places I've found in Maine are swamps and swamp areas to hunt. There's so many travel corridors and stuff through these areas, and there's plenty of places to hide that they know that humans do not want to go into. Here's a comparison of the same swamp fall to summer. There's a lot less food, you can tell, but there's plenty of places for them to hide, and there's a lot less water in these swamps in the deer season time. So it's one thing to pay attention to. You also looking for cover in these areas. Some of these swamps are mostly water, others have a lot of vegetation in them. This one here is an overgrown swamp. There's lots of potential into that. I also have peninsulas. You have islands in the swamps where they like to bed. There's a lot of security for them. Know a lot of predators, and humans will not go through those areas to get into those spots. You can see sometimes you get streams and stuff you may be able to paddle into. Also, these beaver dams are something to check out too, because that's a pinch point or close corridor for easy travel through these swamps for animals. Here are a bunch of power lines. As you can see, some go through swamps, some through flat areas, some are through vegetation. We have quite a few power lines here in Maine, and as you can see in this video here, we do not have a lot of flat ground. There's all kinds of different elevation changes in the terrain. As you can see here also as well, you're looking past that first set of poles. There's a swamp that divides part of this swamp here. So there's a lot of things to change and places to observe, places to find to sit. You may want to go halfway down this power line in the high ground and look down in. On top of that, you won't want to silhouette yourself to the very top. And again, this stuff as well is a lot taller than you realize. You think you're just going to be able to go right there and sit. Then you find out that it's 8-10 feet tall, some of that vegetation. So you need to make sure that you plan for that too. Here I'm just going to zoom in on this same area, give you an idea of what the range is. There's quite a bit of range here. We think there's over 1,000 yards in through here, and also there's again, you see the swamp here. You can't even tell what's in that next dip, but just look at the range in the telephone poles, and those are 200-250 yards a piece from each other, apart from each other there. So it's a lot to look at. And then here you can show there's a power line goes down this dirt road for a long ways. We have I think this one is probably 60 miles down this dirt road on the left hand side where the power line is. But also on the right hand side we also have a gas line that follows this road. And you can see it, sometimes they're on opposite sides of the road, and sometimes they cross and follow the same side of the road. But they're actually mowing this pipeline now, so that will help for food and stuff for the animals. We saw a lot of turkeys this day out here, but we didn't see much for deer. But that don't say they're not going to be out there in another month or so for deer season. It's just a lot of open area you can look at. Well, next thing we have here is clear cuts. Clear cuts are not quite as common as they used to be. We used to have tons of clear cuts back quite a few years ago, but there are some now. They do a lot of what we call finger cutting, where they'll cut a row and then leave some trees and cut a row. I honestly am not sure which is better, because you're cutting a lot of animals' homes down, or you're leaving half it up. But now they're leaving a lot of slash in the ground. But some large clear cuts here. Goes on quite a ways. Goes up this hill. See in front of me here. I think it's fun about scouting with clear cuts. You can just sit in one spot as long as you got a good view. Oh yeah. With a pair of binoculars or a spot scope. Just sit for a while, couple hours, and you just watch. Pay attention to what's going on. Look for trail signs and look for bedding areas and movement. This one's getting a little bit grown up over here, but Goes down quite a ways that way. Again, you can get up on one of these piles. Get one under these piles and you can look down into that stuff. There's another pile over there. Like a built-in tree stand already. A lot of different vegetation through here. Pond way out there. Again, in the fall, all this vegetation will be gone, so you'll be able to see a lot better into this stuff by then. Well, you can just sit in there on top of that and look down in. A lot of opportunities. Please, that's for sure. A lot of opportunities with the clear cuts. It's a lot of edge, a lot of food, especially when it's grown. Been cut a couple of years, it's got a lot of young vegetation in it. So they like to eat that, and they can also hide in there. A lot of places for them to hunker down. You don't realize how uneven some of that ground is. They start walking through it, and you know, a deer could completely be standing up and be in a hole or something, you'd never see it. But you got to be able to walk those, and if you're elderly or old or disabled like I am, then all I can do is hunt the outskirts and hope you find something. Next thing we got here is food plots. Food plots are kind of a new thing for me. I've only hunted them a couple of years and I've been working on mine. This is mine. As you can see, it's been planted in July, late July, and this is the best right there it's ever done. And it's been growing and growing this year. Usually the deer will have that flattened by probably October, but this time it's doing much better. Just each plot you have, you gotta kind of figure out with your soil. I've been doing soil tests now for a couple of years and improving the pH. So that's a main thing you gotta do, and then you also gotta figure out, you know, what's the best food to put in there for the deer in that area. Make sure you're not just putting in the same thing that everybody else has, or competing with other things. I try and put something in there. This is a mixed vegetation here, so it'll start early and hopefully go right into the deer season, November deer season, with clover and brassicas and other things in there as well. So it's a smorgasbord. I'm gonna give this a try, and it's supposed to be a lot better soil builder as well. This is my brother's food plot. Mostly cow peas. You can see a lot of the peas right there growing. I believe he's got clover in here too. That one's doing well. It's a whole different kind of hunting when you're hunting by a food plot. You can see this food plot has looks like it's got a blend of stuff growing in it. You see that? Mostly he's got cow peas in here, but I do believe he has winter rye, and he's got some clover in here too, I think. This is still, I think it's August 10th today. So, plenty of time for it to grow some more, feed more animals. That's where the food plots come in very handy, especially you don't have a lot of time. Or you want to feed more than one deer and establish a good herd, this is a great thing to do. Don't forget, when you're watching and seeing all these different areas, there are also many different ways to hunt them. You can look for scrapes, signposts, rubs, look for travel corridors, you look for food. Also, each area will require different techniques, whether it's using a tree stand, ground blind, portable ground blind, or a fixed one, or an elevated one, or you can make one out of a natural material such as branches, trees, logs, things like that. Also, you will want to do spot and stalk hunting in certain areas. And also, depending on the weather, you can do road hunting. We are traveling down the road, walking and driving certain spots, tracking in the snow, tracking in the dirt. So every one of these areas has its own different ways to hunt. You just have to evaluate where you are, pay attention to where the food and the cover is, and then you go accordingly. You pay attention to everything. It's not that simple, but if there's a will, there's a way. It's pretty fun to do all this stuff. I think it's pretty exciting, and hopefully you can connect all the dots and you'll be successful.